Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the zoo. I'm being plagued by kittens. Can't wait to get rid of these things. I think people are coming on Wednesday to pick them up. Anyway, so while the world is falling apart around my ears, I wanted to make a video about this. This game is a 10-minute rapid game. I'm 1534. Opponent is 1552 from Switzerland. And what I think is really interesting about this, and I haven't analysed this game, it's an interesting lesson in attacking. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'm doing my, we're doing monthly, we're doing longer monthly sessions now at Chess Bootcamp Live. So I'm going to be doing one all about attacks, and I've got a library of some of my best attacking games ever. And we're going to look in detail at how do you spot when is it time to attack, and what is the attacking idea, okay? So this is not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. I start with an attacking idea and I figure out what I need to do, but then I kind of fluff it and then have to change and pivot and come up with a new idea. Okay, so it's an e4 game. Opponent plays the Caro-Kann, d4, d5, knight c3. Happy days. Takes, and then I'm playing the von Hennig gambit with bishop to c4. So I've allowed my opponent to keep the pawn, saying here, keep the pawn, but haha, I'm attacking this one. And the idea is that they're most likely to bring out their knight. They may also bring out their bishop in an effort to defend the pawn, obviously. So here they bring out the bishop, okay? This is not my favorite, but then you push f3 anyway in Black Mardima style, or there's many other, kind of gambits that use this motif. There's the Geertz-Peters and the French, for example. There's a response to the King's Gambit that I can never remember. Steinitz, somebody. Anyway, opponent here pushes pawn to e6, which is not great because I can now capture here, defended by the knight, with tempo, and kick at a bishop. Right, bishop retreats to g6. Knight to f3, obviously. Right, want to control the centre, want to prepare to castle. Right, now that we've got rid of Freddy, our problem child, right, we can now castle short like you do in the Vienna Gambit, out with a semi-open f-file, stick your rook on there, and go on the offensive. Okay, so bishop to g5, right, developing my final minor piece, pinning the knight. Now it almost demands bishop to e7, which duly comes, and then I castle short, and he castles short. Okay, so far we've used just over 30 seconds. We've lost a pawn each, but I have a bit more control, let's say, over the centre because I'm controlling squares and my opponent's off a bit more. Yeah, he's also got minor pieces doing similar, but my minor pieces are all out on the board. I'm ahead in development, I'm ahead in central control. So I'd say white is slightly better here. Now I drop my bishop back because I figure with these two pawns here, I'm biting on granite. There's not going to be much going on there. What I want to do is punch some holes in this king's defense, right? I want to win. I want to checkmate my opponent. Now h6 here, to me, feels like a flinch. It's like playing that hand slap game where you do that and you take your hands away, I'm quite happy to see that because I'm thinking now already there may be the opportunity to use this pawn as a hook, maybe with queen and bishop, right, on the same diagonal, sack the bishop, pawn takes, queen takes, knight comes in, checkmate, okay? That's the beginnings of a general idea at this point already. Now, you'll say, but wait, Hunty, what about this knight here? And I'm like, okay, but I have an idea. Pawn from e4 to e5, remove the knight, or just take the knight. If it didn't vacate, right? If you've got checkmate threat. So, starting to layer different pieces of the puzzle. Bishop retreats to e3. So I'm getting ready to put my queen on d2. His queen comes out looking at this pawn. And now I have to think, okay, can I surrender the pawn, right? Do I have time to play this, right? They do this, I take here, pawn takes, queen takes, right? But I still haven't removed the knight. So I haven't got an immediate threat, and I'm just giving up a pawn unnecessarily. So rook to b1, just defend the pawn, okay? It seems like the right thing to do. Queen now retreats, so he's moved his queen twice, and now it's me to move. So I have a slight initiative advantage here, queen to d2, behind my bishop. Now he brings out his knight here, and I did think for a while about swapping the knight off for my light squared bishop, doubling up and isolating his pawns on the a file. Now I thought, nah, right? These bishops facing off could be important. So I've got, here's my general plan at this point, okay? It's going to start, and so it begins, right? It's going to start. The storm will begin with a rumble. Pawn to e5. And this comes with two kinds of threats, because I'm attacking the knight with a pawn, okay? We've got bishop on bishop action. Now, he may capture my bishop and trade off, at which point I said to myself, I shall recapture with my c pawn. Capture towards the centre with the pawn, maintain my pawn kind of mass in the middle here, which is an advantage. And then it's time to go in with this, right? Because whether he trades bishops or not, it doesn't really matter. These bishops are kind of inconsequential, although this bishop is guarding h7 as well. But he's going to have to do something with his knight, and when he does that, it's going to be bang, takey, bang, in jumps the horse. Okay, you might have ideas about this, but we'll see. So, but before that, because he's put his knight here, I thought against that, and I thought, look, I think I have time to play a prophylactic move preventing this. Now, I did look at the analysis quickly, right? And spoiler, the computer said this was a mistake. The computer says I should have gone with e5 immediately, okay? Now, he plays rook over here. I'm like, that's nothing. That's a nothing move, right? So, bang, e5, okay? He thinks for a bit, and he takes my bishop, and I immediately, 1.4 seconds recapture with my queen. It's like, and then I looked at it, I went, oh, that wasn't the plan, dude. That wasn't the plan. You're supposed to capture with the pawn and keep your queen on this diagonal. You jellyhead. Anyway, now his knight jumps into the centre of the board. I'm like, okay, well, all right, it's under attack. So, okay. But then I realised at this point that I'd fluffed up my plan. In the immortal words of Kevin Bloody Wilson, I just blew it and came in my pants and it was over, right? Yeah, I rushed into it. He takes back. Now, we've got almost a good pawn chain here, but it's still time to come after the king, right? His bishop is mobile. It can come through his pawn chain. His knight is well offside. His knight's in a stupid position over there. So I push c3 anyway. Right? I figure, like, trying to be grown up here, attack when it's time to attack. Sometimes the right thing to do is defend. He lines up his rook behind. That's the second time that rook has moved. Right, it's gone there and then back here. And what's it doing? Queen's not going to take on there. So I'm thinking, oh, your idea must be like this, but then this rook's defended, so I don't get it. So I drop my queen back to d2, right, trying to kind of resurrect pieces of my original plan. Opponent's now 4 minutes 34. He drops his queen into c4 anyway. Well, why? Yeah. I don't think he played particularly well in this game, has to be said. And so now I'm thinking, okay, right, so why do I put my queen on f2? Right, well, I'll tell you why. This takes, queen takes. Okay, I've got my queen up in his king's face. That's fine. Then what I want to do is I want to put my knight here and checkmate him on this square. That's fine, but if I do that, I've given up a bishop for 2 pawns, okay? He does something, I play this, he swaps it off, right? I have a check. We might end up with a perpetual, backwards and forwards. That's not winning. I didn't see how it's winning, right? So my other thought is, okay, well, let's recycle another idea that we know. And here's an idea that we know, isn't it, boys and girls? put a major piece in line with opponent's king when there's a hook pawn here, and then the bishop comes in, snatches off the hook pawn, and this pawn can't capture because it's pinned by your major piece, which is here. Right, so that's why queen f2. Opponent now fiddles about again. What's this about? Is this knight going to come in to the defence? Well, it can't come to f6, can it? So queen g3. And now, what's that? I mean, please. Okay, this is a 15-50 player with 4 minutes on the clock. He's attacking nothing, right? That's defended by the rook. These rooks are connected, so the queen can do no damage there whatsoever. Bishop takes h6, right? And now he's got a problem. If he pushes the pawn, I take the rook. Right? If he doesn't push the pawn, I'm threatening to play queen takes g7 mate. He has to push. I take the rook, bishop takes. Now, it looks like the bishop is providing some reasonable defence here. So, how do we finish this? Okay, pause if you need to. What would be your attacking plan here? Right? You've got a stupid horse, you've got a stupid castle, you've got a stupid queen. Okay? You've got a king with quite a lot of fresh air around him. My king is snug as a bug in a rug. The obvious plan is to use your defended knight. Now your developed knight. This knight has moved once. It's time to move the second time. Knight comes into g5. Queen comes onto the h-file. And then the queen will jump into h7 with checkmate, right? That's the plan. Now, sometimes you can have a plan that's really bloody obvious, okay? And you know your opponent can do something about it, but it doesn't matter because what your opponent is going to have to do is going to weaken your opponent, right? This is not the most sophisticated plan in the world, okay? So he now plays bishop h6, okay. But he has another problem, okay? Because this knight move comes actually with a hidden threat. Do you see the hidden threat? Knight to here, right? So I've got two attacks, right, going on simultaneously. He blocks attack number one, the obvious attack. But the other problem is this, right? Yeah? I now have two attackers on yon pawn. This knight's technically defended by the queen. So the move here, knight takes f7. Now I'm threatening to capture the bishop. I'm potentially threatening to come here, right? As well. So either king needs to defend the bishop or the bishop needs to get out of there. Okay? He defends the bishop. Is that the right move? If not, what would you play here? Okay, move I play is queen h4. Quite subtle, quite quiet, and again, it comes with two threats. There's the obvious threat. Queen takes bishop, okay? At which point, king can't go there, has to come here, and then queen to h8 is checkmate, okay? That's threat number one. But there's another threat. Note that this beautiful rook has been occupying and owning that f-file for a long time. The other threat is literally for the queen to come in here. So what does the opponent do? Rook f8. Defends... Does he? I mean, I can come in here and the king has to move... Can't go there, but the king has to move onto a light square. So I've got options here. I just take on h6, right? King can't go there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Can't take that because it's defended by the rook. There's only one move, king g8, and then there's actually a couple of, I could have gone in the corner as well, I think, checkmate, but taking the pawn with checkmate as well. So, yeah, really interesting game. I don't think my opponent did a great job there at all. We'll have a quick look at the review while we're at it. So I'm probably in the 70s. Yeah, 79 here. I made 6 mistakes in this game, okay? And, yeah, 1. So, this is all book, this is okay, knight to f6 is actually the best move. And black is actually slightly better in this position because I've given up a pawn, but it's only slightly better. Yes, I know it's a mistake, G4, I've never considered G4. I might have to look at that line, actually. I might have to look into that. Watch this space. F3's not right. That's not right, because, okay, great move. It's the only good move on the board. Yep. And black really never got an advantage again from this point. Bishop G6 retires. Knight to F3, best move. That's okay. So interesting this. So E5 first actually just forced the knight away. This isn't a forcing move, because it's easily blocked, right, with Bishop E7, which is what he does. I castle. So here it's saying Queen E2 better, okay. So I castle, right? Because sometimes, you know, lining up an attack or whatever is that we are not stockfishers, thankfully. But he doesn't like that move, okay? Queen E1 was better, but I might play Queen E1 anyway. And this is a missed win. Should have played E5 and blocked up the centre, or opened up the centre. That's inaccurate. I don't care. I've got an idea. Ideas matter. Queen there. Rook B1 is a mistake. Why? Here it's saying Knight E5 was the best move. Knight E5. Bishop H7. I mean, it's a nice. I've got a lovely kind of block of pieces just ready to explode in every direction like a grenade, but I don't really see the idea behind that. Okay, so I do this. It's saying black slightly better. That's a miss. Should have played Knight G4. Again, inaccurate. Computer doesn't like this idea, right? And that's, yeah, we knew that was poor. And now white is plus 1.2 nearly. A3, unnecessary. Like I said, E5, it's saying pull the trigger. Now it's time to pull the trigger. That timing of when to pull the trigger, when to go, you know, light the fuse on your attack is critical. That's poor. Now I do this. Takes. Queen takes D3 is a mistake. It's actually saying I should have captured the knight instead. Okay. So from here, okay, E takes F6 is the number one move. And then it can't make up its mind between Queen takes or C takes on here. So, but for my plan, it should have been C takes. I forgot. I just threw that one out there. Okay, whatever. Now I'm less than 1 point in front. C3 is best. Just shore up the defences, right? There's no need to go, you know, balls out at your opponent immediately. That's a kind of, it's a move. It doesn't like that. Said I should have lifted my rook for some reason. Probably wanting to double up rooks on the F file. Again, nothing move. A mistake. It's, I should have brought my knight back to E1. Okay, so the computer's got a different idea, right? But the computer's idea is based on perfect play, or near as damn it perfect play, or superhuman play, right? My opponent is not superhuman. My opponent's 1550. Now that might seem, I don't know what your rating is, that might seem like, oh, that's a superhuman, right? He's in the top 5% of players on chess.com. No. Players at 1550 blunder all the time, right? They make mistakes in every game. Practically, it happens, okay? And sometimes all you need is a good idea. So again, you know, wayward horse. Queen comes to here. Okay, Queen. This is another idea. So again, it's trying to think of this barrage thing. But then I thought that takes, I don't know. Maybe then I could have lifted my rook and finished the job. Maybe. But anyway, and that's just a blunder. Okay, best move on the board. Can't be captured because the pawn's pinned, and that's a mistake. Should have brought the knight back as the defender. Right. Very often we're very loath to bring our knights back to the back rank. But in defense, it can be really, really powerful. Okay, he does this, and it's not looking good. Wow, Queen E3 check was best. Throw in a check first, huh? And we all know how it ends. Best move, good. Pleased about that. Very happy with that move. And a mistake, best. And then there's, you know, 2 ways to win. Yeah, Queen H8 is also mate. and that's it. So yeah, as you get better at chess, cooking up attacking ideas. Right? It's always you should always have an idea, even if it's a bad idea. Okay, and have an attacking idea. Try and be offensive when you can, except when it's not the right thing to do. Sometimes it's time to, for example, that c3 move, just completing my pawn chain was the best move on the board according to the engine. So there you go. But critically, choosing that right time to attack is vital. And if you want to go into this a bit deeper, I'm doing a 2-hour long session going through a lot of attacking patterns, sacrifice patterns in a couple of weeks. So join Chess Bootcamp Live, $49 a month. Give it a try for a month, and you'll have access to the back catalogue as well, of course, of well over 100 hours of training. So, give it a shot. Thanks for watching. See you later.